Here's a selection of mid to late 20th century fine art photographers you should know. We already covered Cindy Sherman, so this is just a selection of some of my favorites. Diane Arbus, known for photographing subjects that weren't necessarily typical of photography of the time, she befriended her subjects and gave visibility to individuals she felt were crafting their own identities outside of normative society. Sideshow performers, nudists, tattooed individuals, obsessive fans, those marginalized because of their sexuality. Martin Parr, an English photographer and photojournalist, he made his subjects look sometimes satirical, but in reality, he was documenting what was really there, often with really vivid color saturation. He explored themes of class and consumerism in his works, and despite many of his photos having a humorous feel, there's an anthropological quality to them. Mona Simpson uses her photography to question things like identity, race, and representation in history. She has created anti-portraits that remove the gaze of the subject while getting the viewer to consider the ways that we perceive Black bodies. She often puts her photographs in larger compositions, combining elements of collage and paint into her works. Simpson was also the first African American woman to exhibit at the Venice Biennale. Robert Mapplethorpe, known for his black and white photographs, sometimes of celebrities, self-portraits, male and female nudes, and BDSM culture. His work was sometimes controversial. His exhibition, The Perfect Moment, elicited outrage from conservative organizations, setting off a culture war debate about censorship of sexual imagery in galleries and museums. Nan Golden, an activist as well as photographer, she documented many subcultures like the post-punk scene of New York, but also LGBT communities in the midst of the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. She's also a founding member of PAIN, an advocacy organization that fights for those affected by the opioid crisis, specifically targeting the Sackler family, owners of Purdue Pharma. She's such a badass, and there's a wonderful documentary about her titled All the Beauty and the Bloodshed that I highly recommend. Richard Avedon, primarily a portrait and fashion photographer, he managed to capture movement in his still photography and aimed to accentuate his subject's personality and soul in his works. He photographed without props on blank studio backdrops and refused to use soft lighting, creating striking high contrast representations of his subjects. That's all for today. I know there's many more important photographers to cover. Please drop your favorites in the comments.